Underconsumption Core. The anti-spending trend everyone is copying is quietly making the entire influencer economy obsolete, and nobody wants to admit it. Here's the part nobody says out loud. This isn't really about money, not the way you think it is. A generation raised on endless shopping is suddenly filming their worn-out shoes, their half-empty shampoo bottle, the hairdryer they've owned for a decade, and millions of people are watching, quietly nodding along. Something in them recognizes it instantly. On the surface, it looks like budgeting, frugality with a filter on it. But watch these videos closely, and you'll notice something odd. They aren't tense, they're calm, almost peaceful. These people aren't showing you what they can't afford. They're showing you what they've decided is enough. That is a completely different thing. Enough isn't a price. Enough is a decision. And a whole generation is making that decision at once. So the real question isn't why they're spending less. It's what they're reaching for instead. Because you don't film your old sweater for the algorithm. You film it because holding it makes you feel something. Steady, grounded, safe. We'll get to what that feeling actually is. It started with one teenager. The summer of 2024. An 18-year-old in Germany named Maya Feldman opens her camera. She shows an old hairdryer, clothes she's had since the 7th grade, jeans full of holes she still wears. No pitch, no product code, no storefront link. Just this. Here's what I own, and it still works. That video crossed 2 million views. Then, the tag exploded. Tens of millions of posts followed within months. People filming their shelf of reused jars, their single tube of toothpaste rolled up from the very bottom, their grandmother's old drinking glasses. And here's what surprised everyone. The comments weren't pity, they were relief. Thousands of people saying, finally. Finally someone showing a normal life. Not the highlight reel, not the haul. Think about how strange that actually is. We built an entire economy on wanting more. And now the most relatable thing you can post is wanting less. That is not a market shift. That is a nervous system shift. Watch it happen, and you can feel the mood turn from selling into something closer to confession. But let's be honest about the label for a second. Plenty of people rolled their eyes, because using something until it's gone isn't a trend. It's just how most of human history lived. Your great-grandparents didn't call it underconsumption, they called it Tuesday. So why does it suddenly need a name? Why does ordinary behavior need a hashtag and an aesthetic to exist? That's the thread worth pulling. When a society has to invent a word for restraint, it's telling on itself. It means restraint stopped being the default. It became remarkable. Something you perform. Something you announce to strangers. So ask yourself this quietly. When exactly did having enough become a lifestyle you opt into? That question matters far more than the trend does. Because the answer isn't hiding in your budget. It's hiding in your brain. And to understand what's really happening tonight in millions of dark bedrooms, we have to go back. Back to a time when using less wasn't a choice anyone got to make. We used to be trusted to just live. Now the living itself has to be captioned to count. Rewind to the 1940s. Britain, in the middle of the war. In June 1941, buying new clothes was rationed. Not discouraged, rationed. You needed coupons just to replace a worn coat. So the government ran a campaign. They called it Make Do and Mend. There was even a cartoon character, Mrs. So and So, teaching people how to patch a jacket, how to darn a sock instead of throwing it away, how to turn a frayed collar around to hide the wear. People saved jam jars because glass was precious. They mended by lamplight before bed. And every evening ended the same way. Small repairs, careful, patient hands. making one more day out of what they already had. This was not an aesthetic. Nobody filmed it. There was no audience and no applause. It was survival, dressed up as routine. And here's the uncomfortable overlap. The rituals your great-grandparents did out of pure necessity are the exact rituals a generation is now performing on camera. Same actions, completely different reason. People kept buttons in tins and string in drawers. Nothing left the house until it was truly finished. Look closely at that older ritual. It happened at night. That is not a coincidence. The end of the day was when you took stock of things. The mending basket came out after dinner. You fixed whatever had torn. You put things back in their place. You made the small pile of what you owned feel ordered again. And then you slept. There's a reason that rhythm survived for so many generations. Tending to what you have is a way of telling your own mind something. The day is closed. Nothing more is needed tonight. The account is settled. Psychologists have a plain word for that feeling: sufficiency. The quiet sense that what you have is enough for now. It lowers your guard. It slows your pulse. It is the exact opposite of wanting. And for almost all of history, people arrived there out of necessity. They simply had no other option. What's strange today is that we have every option imaginable, and we're chasing that same old feeling on purpose. The real question is why? You didn't reach for more. You cared for what was already yours, and that care was its own kind of rest. So here's the twist nobody expected. This time, it isn't scarcity driving any of it. Most of these creators aren't broke. They have credit. They have access. They could buy the new thing tonight, one tap, delivered by morning, and they are choosing not to, then filming the choosing. That breaks the old explanation completely. Your great-grandparents used less because the shelves were empty. This generation has full shelves, full carts, full feeds, and they are still exhausted. So if it isn't the wallet, then what is it? What could make a generation that has everything crave the feeling of having less? The answer isn't in the economy at all. It's in the 12 hours before this video was even filmed. In everything their eyes took in across that single day. Because scarcity didn't come back. Something else did. A different kind of hunger entirely. One that no purchase has ever managed to feed. And it shows up loudest at night, right before the light goes off. The store is always open now. The want never closes. And a door that never shuts stops feeling like freedom. Here's what's actually happening in there. Every scroll, every notification, every bright new thing on the screen gives your brain a tiny chemical spike. A small hit of dopamine, the chemistry of wanting. On its own, a single hit is nothing at all. But you don't get one. You get thousands in a day. Message, ad, post, sale. Another face, another product, another reason to want something. Researchers who study this describe it simply. The system that makes you crave gets overworked. It never gets a chance to rest. So by night, you aren't satisfied. You aren't even really tired. You are saturated, buzzing and empty at the very same time. And a saturated brain does not want more input. It's already drowning in input. It wants the opposite. It wants the noise to finally stop. It wants edges, limits, a room where nothing is asking anything of you. That craving has to point somewhere. And lately, it's pointing straight at the oldest comfort there is: less. Advertising learned this long ago. Keep the wanting warm, and you'll never notice you were full an hour ago. One hit was designed to feel harmless. 1,000 of them, stacked, quietly rewire what your evenings feel like. You already know this feeling. It's 11 at night. You're in bed. The lights are off, but the screen is still on. You've watched 40 videos and remember none of them. Your thumb keeps moving anyway. Somewhere in there, a quiet voice says, "You should just put it down." And you don't. Because putting it down means being alone with a mind that's been stimulated for 16 straight hours. That is the exact moment Underconsumption Core quietly answers. It offers you a picture of a slower room. One toothbrush, a clean, bare shelf, a shirt worn soft with years. Nothing new, nothing demanding a thing from you. For a saturated brain, that image lands like cold water on a burn. It isn't the frugality that soothes you. It's the stillness, the absence of one more thing to want. People watch those videos to feel what their own nights have stopped giving them. Quiet. And most of them don't fully know that's what they're reaching for. So you outsource the silence to a stranger's tidy shelf. You borrow their calm because you've run out of your own. Now here's the contrast worth sitting with. The people who stay steady with money across a whole lifetime tend to share one habit. They protect their attention like it's the real currency. They aren't against nice things. They are against noise. They understand that a mind kept constantly stirred up makes worse decisions about everything. What to buy, what to keep, what's actually worth their limited time. So they build quiet on purpose. Fewer inputs, fewer open loops at the end of the day. They treat calm not as a reward for success, but as a condition for it. And this is the part that reframes the entire trend. This generation isn't stumbling toward frugality by accident. Their overloaded nervous systems are pushing them, blindly, towards something that wiser people arrange deliberately. A quieter mind, less pull, more solid ground under their feet. The trend is only the symptom. The real signal underneath it is a hunger for self-control in a world engineered specifically to remove it. They guard the last hour of the day fiercely. Nothing new is allowed to enter a mind about to sleep. So look again at that half-used tube of toothpaste. It was never really about the toothpaste, or even the small money it saved. It's a visible little proof of a decision. The decision to stop being moved by every impulse the day throws at you. Every object you use all the way up is a quiet act of resistance. It says, "I finished what I started. I didn't chase the next one." That is a muscle, and most people have let it go soft. Here's the deeper truth. The trend keeps circling without ever naming. What you own shapes how you feel at night, but not the way advertising promised. More doesn't settle you. It just stacks more unfinished wanting on the pile. Less settles you because less is finished. Complete. Quiet. Your grandmother knew this by lamplight. She simply didn't have the words for it, or a camera pointed at her. The comfort was never in the mending itself. It was in the moment the wanting finally stopped. Finishing a thing is a tiny promise kept to yourself, and promises kept are what a steady mind is built from. Pull back far enough, and the pattern is almost beautiful. Tonight, in millions of separate rooms, people are doing the very same small thing, turning off the shopping, reaching for something old and worn, feeling their shoulders drop an inch. They think it's about the economy. Some think it's about the planet. A few think it's just a trend they'll drop by spring. But underneath all of it runs one shared current. A generation overstimulated past its limit, teaching itself the oldest lesson there is. That piece was never the next purchase. It was the point where you stopped needing one. The influencer economy was built to keep that point just out of reach, to make sure enough always felt one order away. And that is exactly why this quiet trend threatens it. not with anger, with relief. You cannot sell more to a person who just discovered that less is what finally let them breathe. That is the shift nobody wanted to admit. Notice that. The threat isn't a competitor. The threat is a customer who finally feels complete and stops asking. So here's one small thing to try. Behavioral, not financial. Tonight, before you reach for your phone or your cart, pause on a single question. Not, can I afford this? Ask instead, am I trying to buy something or am I trying to quiet something? Then sit with the honest answer for 10 full seconds. Most nights, you'll find it's the second one. You aren't short a product. You're short a moment of stillness. And a purchase has never once delivered that. Then do the older thing. Finish something you already own before you buy its replacement. Let one tube run all the way out. Let one pair of shoes earn its creases. Notice the strange, small satisfaction of using a thing to the very end. That's the muscle rebuilding itself. You aren't depriving yourself of anything. You're teaching your mind that it already holds enough to close the day. Do that a few nights in a row, and the noise slowly starts to lose its grip. You're not fighting the urge, you're just naming it out loud, and naming it is usually enough to loosen it. So look back at that bare shelf. One toothbrush, one worn tube, nothing waiting to be bought. This was never really an anti-spending trend, and it was never really about the money at all. It was a tired generation turning the volume down, one night at a time. The influencer economy should be nervous, because you can't sell more to someone who just heard silence and liked it. Enough was never for sale.